Take 3. I'm trying to do this video, and while I know what I want to talk about, I want to make sure I'm doing it as best as I can to communicate correctly the things that I want to say to everybody. I was talking to my daughter today about relationships, and we do vision boards for our lives, and sometimes you may need to do a vision board for your relationships. Ladies, gentlemen, sit down with your significant other and come up with a plan for what you want your relationship to look like, especially if you're in the relationship, you've been in there for a period of time. I'm going to say over a year, maybe even 2 years. You should know each other by now, but sometimes, when we start out in those beginning stages of our relationship, we are in that impress the person mode. You want to show everything, good to that other person because you want them to like you. I mean, you don't get in a relationship that you don't want somebody to like you, but listen, come up with a plan. One of the things my husband and I, and he's my husband of soon to be 22 years, we were in a relationship for over, I think we got married 4 years after we met, but we talked about keeping the main thing. Now, that's hard when one or both of you or the other wants to bring additional people, and y'all know what I mean, into the relationship. But usually if you decide that you want to be together, that's a good thing. And so you need to have a plan on how to sustain that. It's easy in the beginning to show all the good stuff, the yummy, the mushy, the gushy, all of that stuff. It's good, but when it's not good, do you have a plan for that? Do you have tools to ensure that that relationship is going to go the way that both of you want? Both of you have a plan for how you want that relationship to keep moving forward. We have to do that, and I find that sometimes we don't want to talk about, what type of relationship that we have currently. What's working for me? What's not working for me? What's things that I can accept? What things can I not accept? Because listen, you don't want to look up 5 years later and things are still the same. Take it from somebody. I was always that girl. I grew up with 5 brothers, had 1 sister. I was always that girl who could be cool with guys, and I'm just speaking from a female perspective. I could be cool with guys, but it may not have translated over to the romantic part, because hey, and I'm going to talk about this. I was an around the way girl. And I think I'm going to parlay that, shout out to LL Cool J. That's one of my favorite songs. He is one of my favorite entertainers. But I was the girl who could just get in where she fit in. I was cool with everybody. And sometimes that may not translate over you. And, when you're the around the way girl, they can slide through. They can come chill. They can come get them a plate. They can come do whatever. You could be there. You could be the girl that when you go to... they need a date. They need somebody to chill with, but not necessarily, make the investment to be, your gal, want you to be their gal, so that was kind of difficult. So I spent a lot of time by myself. But what I'm saying to you is be intentional about your relationships. And I'm speaking on a romantic relationship. We can talk about friendships later. I think I could offer you some stuff on that. But, hey, make it intentional. Sit down at the table. Put some little food in with it, because most men respond to food, whatever. Put some effort into explaining yourself to your significant other of, hey, I love this about our relationship, but hey, this isn't kind of working out for me. What can we do to change it? Because a lot of times, as I told my daughter today, we have to model the behavior that we want to see. But it also, you got to get to the, your partner may not know about having a relationship. They may have seen something crazy from their mama, their daddy, and think that's how relationships are supposed to be. Now, one of the reasons why, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm very transparent. My husband and I have been together for 22 years, married, but we've had some bumps in the road, especially in them first few years. We've been apart a few times more. I can count on one hand how many times we've been apart, the whole 5 fingers, you feel me? And so we were still learning each other. We were still learning. I even with me being with him, I still was that person that was just cool. It may have hurt my feelings, but I learned to just stuff it. That's a whole nother conversation too, y'all. But speak up for yourself. Sit down and tell your significant, I like when you do this, but when you do this, I don't like that. Now, on the flip side of that, be willing to receive that as well. Remember what I said about boundaries? It goes both ways. Hey, I like when you do this. Now, we're not talking about control. We're talking about, this is how I like for you to treat me that makes me feel love. They have those love languages, quizzes, tests, or whatever. Go try that. See how that works out for you. I learned something about my husband that probably was an irritant, but my husband is a person, he's not involved in a lot of extracurricular things. Now, I'm his wife. I'm involved in it. Look, I'm on TikTok, or, I'm very active in my social medias as much as I can, but he's not. So he needs words of affirmation. And when I say, I'm saying thank you all the time, to me that may be an irritant, but to him, he identifies with how he takes care of his family, how he goes to work and provides. So you need to say thank you. I appreciate that. And he's the one who really, is concerned about cooking, because my kids are grown, and stuff like that, so they're not really around that much. But he cooks more than me. And so when he does, I say thank you. It don't take nothing to say thank you if you really feel that way.